If you're a fitness coach, the true question is, how do you get more prospects to give you these credit cards? If you are tired and just frustrated with just not getting your followers to turn into buyers, you're gonna love this video. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris Martinez. I'm one of the co-founders of Dynamic Fit Pros, where my brother and I help out health and fitness coaches scale their business to 6 figures and beyond. We've helped over 900 plus coaches the past 6 years, and we've been in the industry for 15 years. We had our own 6-figure business as well too. In this video, I'm gonna talk about high level that we are in a trust recession where skepticism is super high and trust is super low. On this side of the equation, you have somebody that doesn't trust themselves. On this side of the equation, they don't trust you. But in the middle, guys, in the middle, that's where the gold is. It's called the buying pocket. I'm gonna give you guys 4 different ways you guys can tackle the buying pocket there so you can turn more of your followers into buyers. Okay, so before I get into more of the tactical strategies that you're looking for, right, to implement right away on how to turn your followers into buyers, what I'm gonna do is give you more of like a high level overview of why you need to have this mindset of turning your followers into buyers. They say attention is the most important currency, but the bridge from attention to cash collected has to be trust. You can't just go from attention to cash collected. You'll hear a lot of people where they'll just be like, it's all about just attention, right? Attention, attention, then people will give you your money. I mean, look, there's some truth to that, right? And like the more you market, the less you have to sell. That's absolutely true. But in between attention and then them giving you money, you still have to build trust right here. You have to decrease skepticism, especially if they just came across you cold on social media, wherever it is. So how do we create even more trust, right? The remainder of this year in 2025 and going into 2026, that's the question. So I wanna go over 3 human vices that create mistrust, right? So you can understand this. So the first human vice is hurt, okay? This or that happened to me. So people have gotten hurt, right? Or they've gotten burned, or maybe somebody overpromised and underdelivered, right? So that's a human vice that people will sit there and continue to mistrust people as if they got hurt. Now, if we look at the next one is they're upset. I'm not happy about insert XYZ. So maybe again, it was like something they were overpromised, underdelivered, or maybe just like they went through a coaching program and they just didn't get the results that they truly desired for whatever reason. Maybe just like the coach wasn't good. Maybe just like the whole system wasn't as good as they thought, okay? And the third human vice here that creates mistrust is fear. What happens if this same painful things happen again? So that's a huge thing you're up against right now, right? In this trust recession where skepticism is super high, trust is super low, right? And if you look in between that, it's fear, right? Fear of making the wrong decision. It's one of the top things humans literally shit their pants over is making the wrong decision. It's not even with the coaching program, right? It's literally of like marriage, career, where they're gonna live, whatever it is. So how mistrust shows up on sales conversations, let's get into that. If you look on this left side right here, it says, I don't trust me, okay? That means they don't trust themselves, okay? And that's from like past experiences, growth, stuff like that, right? And basically on the right side of this is, I don't trust you. So on this left side of like kind of the spectrum, it's like, I don't trust myself, right? Making the right decision, executing, doing the work, right? And then on the other side of the spectrum, it's like, I don't trust you. I don't trust you, the coach. I don't trust your system. I don't trust whatever it is that you have for me to get me to the end destination. And if they don't trust you right away, guys, like the battle's already lost. Like you can't come back from that, okay? It's really honestly like get better at marketing and then get on to the next person that's really like open-minded, doesn't have these like blocked mental paradigms, okay? Now, so if you have this spectrum, I don't trust me, I don't trust you, the middle of that, there's always something in the middle, right? To where it's like that gray area that we're looking for. That's what the buying pocket is that we're looking for there, okay? How do we find the buying pockets? Well, that's where I'm gonna get into the tactical stuff right now and the strategies. So let's bust open this iPad and this worksheet. You guys can download this worksheet below too with some of those slides I went over so you can study those and understand them. So just click the link below and you guys can do that. Let's jump into this, okay? On this worksheet, it says the followers to buyers matrix. I'm gonna give you guys 4 different ways that you guys can turn your followers into buyers and find the buying pocket right in the middle. Because right here, it's I don't trust myself or I don't trust you, but there's always a buying pocket in the middle. And how we tackle that buying pocket in the middle is gonna be this followers to buyers matrix in these 4 ways. So let's get started on this, okay? So the very first one here that we need to really understand is goodwill. Not like the movie Goodwill Hunting, but like actually goodwill, like Goodwill Deposits, right? You basically, let me draw this out so you kind of see it a little bit more. There's 4 ways kind of here within the goodwill. So the first one is value. So part of like Goodwill Deposits is just continuously giving good value, like more value to your prospects, to your following, right? To your communities. The next part with that is integrity. So with integrity, it's like doing what you say you're gonna do. So if you promise something, don't underdeliver, overdeliver, right? How you show up on camera is how you should show up with your coaching clients, right? Don't sit there and be somebody completely different. Don't mislead people. Have a very high level of integrity, and that will provide a lot of value right there in Goodwill Deposits, okay? The next one is show up, right? Just show up, right? Again, you're accountable for your awareness as a coach. So part of you showing up every single day is you understanding that you are accountable, right, for your awareness as a coach. Your awareness is your insights, it's your knowledge, it's your expertise, it's your experience. That means if you show up in this game of wanting to be like an online health and fitness coach and be able to be on your way to having a 6-figure business, you can't just show up 1, 2, or 3 days per week or then have a month where you just go MIA. No, that's super selfish. Stop making it about you. Literally. Repeat that back if you have to rewind that. Stop making it about you. It's not about you. It's not your show. The greater mission is to serve people and help them out within health and fitness. With that, if you have that mindset, comes the fruit with that. If you're finding value inside this video, just do us a solid, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and let's continue the video. Now, the second part here is time on brand. Let's say this is you right here, right? You're the brand. So the first part with this, right, is frequency, time on brand. Like, how frequent are you showing up, like on your social media accounts, like on basically your email list, your SMS list, whatever it is? Like, how frequent is it? Is it once a week? Is it once a month? Or is it like you're really stepping up, like going 5 times, 7 times a week, and you're being super consistent, right? So frequency is a huge thing with time on brand, okay? Now, the next one here, this is a big one, is duration. Yeah, there's a place for like short form content, like on, you know, Facebook, Instagram Reels, stories, all that. But really, like if you want to build trust and decrease skepticism in this trust recession, right, and turn followers into buyers, it's really like the time on brand with like duration. Get into long form, right? Podcasting, YouTube, right? Because if somebody can spend 30 to 60 minutes on like a very high valued educational video with you, dude, the trust is going to go up and the skepticism is going to go down on there. That's why we're so big with our clients in our accelerator mentorship that they build a short form masterclass, because if somebody can spend 20 to 30 minutes on a short form masterclass solving a pain point for them, time on brand, the next logical step, they're going to book a call with them, okay? So duration is very key. Now, the next one on this is goodwill over time. Guys, it's not going to happen in like a month, 90 days, maybe even 6 months. It's going to be just goodwill over time, guys. Like those deposits of value, frequency, time on brand, right? You being authentic, whatever it is, over time. Play the long game to where it's like this business of yours is going to blow up in the next 5, 10 years and beyond. Don't just think super short-sighted that it's going to blow up in 6 months or a year. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. That's not a promise or a guarantee, but just understand you're playing the long game with this as well too, okay? Now, the third way that we sit there and find the buying pockets and turn followers into buyers is what we call proximity, okay? So there's 2 forms of proximity I'm gonna go over here with you guys. The first one here, let's talk about emotional proximity, okay? Because if you think about it too, guys, like people are buying coaches, not coaching, right? So it's like, it's a relationship. There's emotion behind there, especially when you guys are on a sales call and you're selling a $1,000 to $3,000 program. People are gonna buy off emotion. You wanna make sure it's definitely a logical decision, right? And it's like not just 100% pure emotion to where then they come back and like to do buyer's remorse, but it's like, just think about the last big purchase you made. Was it super logical or was there a lot of emotion behind it? Just answer that question and be honest. Don't lie to me, okay? So you have emotional proximity, right? And there's kind of 3 things that fall under this emotional proximity. So with emotional proximity, you have authenticity. And that's just you being yourself, man. Like you just literally showing up, being your authentic, true self, sharing your story, sharing your struggles, right? Not just being this robot or putting yourself on a pedestal where it's like, you're perfect, you're a perfect health and fitness coach, you got it all figured out. Like, no, like you can relate with people, right? You're so much more than that. That's why people buy coaches, not coaching. So being super authentic. The next one is being vulnerable, guys. Showing that you're human, right? Showing also that you have core values, that you have a family as well too, right? That you stand for something. You're not just this person where it's like, yeah, I'm just health and fitness and I just go for like macro counting and just, you know, exercise science and that's really it. You know, I don't care to really make a stance or anything, or I don't hate anything about the industry. If you do that, you're so vanilla, like you already lost the game, right? So it's like, be vulnerable and like, you know, open to sharing like what you truly stand for, what pisses you off about the health and fitness industry, like what's your beliefs, what's your philosophy? That's what's going to attract people to you guys, right? With emotional proximity. And the last part here, right, within emotional proximity is empathy. One mentor one time said, how do you scale empathy? Think about that. Like, how do you scale empathy? It's hard, right? Because part of like being this coaching business is being empathetic with your prospects as well too, you know? And I personally struggle sometimes with like empathy, right? Eric, he's very good with that. So I'm a bit jealous about him with that. But in this coaching business, how do you still kind of like show your empathy with these people and relate to them and be like, I know where you're at. I used to be here within your health and fitness journey. That's why I'm here. That's why I got you. You virtually have your arm around them, right? I have you right here every step of my corner. I got your back. You're in good hands, like Allstate says, right? So it's like being super empathetic, and how do you scale that, right? So you have really high emotional proximity, okay? Now the next part with the proximity, this is really good, guys. So make sure you got your pen and papers on this and hit the rewind on this, okay? This is the physical proximity. And this works out really good within like sales, okay? Like emotional, right? That leads to marketing and sales. Physical right here, this is purely sales, right? With the proximity. So let me kind of show you what the hierarchy looks like here. The number one thing, right? Honestly, for like sales and in-person or physical proximity is in-person sales, okay? That's very hard to beat. That's why it's like when somebody comes to a gym or a clinic, right? The trust is already there just because of the brick and mortar, right? They looked you guys up. There's actual physical location. There's actually human beings there. There's actually like maybe teammates or something like that, or you know, coworkers or something like that. The trust is there right away. And that's why it's easy to seal the deal as an in-person like, you know, trainer, or like, you know, in-person like nutritionist or whatever it is, okay? So nothing beats that, okay? If you got that, great, and you're running a hybrid model. So the next skill set is like, if you're really good in person, well, you got to transfer that over to Zoom. There's a different dynamic on there. This is why we spend literally 2 times a week doing sales call reviews, doing role playing, really enhancing the skill set over Zoom with our coaches and our accelerator to get them to that point where they feel so damn comfortable so they can sell high ticket over Zoom. The next one on here is phone. Maybe you're not as skilled at Zoom yet, start off with phone. If you can get really good at phone sales, that's really good as well too. The next one's like video, audio, to where it's like YouTube videos, pre-recorded videos, podcasts, stuff like that. And then the last one you have right here in the proximity, the sales is physical, is like writing, you know, like getting very good at like writing, persuasion, stuff like that, okay? So if we zoom out here, guys, kind of recap everything. I know this is a lot, right? But how do we turn followers into buyers? We basically talked about 3 different ways here. The first one is goodwill here, right? The second one is time on brand, and the next one's proximity, okay? So let's land the plane here with the 4th way so you guys can turn more of your guys' followers into buyers here. So the last one right here is going to be uncertainty. So people are very uncertain, especially in this time, right? Where trust is super low, skepticism super high, right? They're uncertain, right? They're uncertain in themselves, they're uncertain in you, right? So there's a lot of uncertainty, and uncertainty breeds fear. So how do we tackle that? Well, 3 different ways. So the first way we do that is through social proof. So this is why it's so important for you to gather social proof with the clients you guys work with, whether they're in person or online. And sometimes it's even cool to even do like some work where it's just like maybe at a discount rate, or maybe it's even like free to gather social proof, because it's so powerful to have results driven marketing, okay? So if you have social proof, case studies, screenshots, before and after pictures, like literally utilize that stuff on landing pages, in your guys' lead magnets, in your guys' social media, what have you, okay? Now the next one here, right, to really break uncertainty is test drive. Any Costco fans here? I just went the other day with my wife and my son, and we like taking my son there because he gets to get snacks, right, from all of the samples there. So think about that, right? I get to taste something there. I literally went to Costco and they came out with like this seltzer water that has protein in it. I was like, oh wow, let me go check that out. So they got my attention, right? Then I checked it, and it said like 30 grams of protein inside of a seltzer water, right? It tasted a little funny, right? But still, it was 30 grams in this thing, and then I tasted it and I was like, that's not that bad. What did I do? I bought some because they let me test drive the product. How do you get people to test drive your services within online health and fitness, okay? That's a very good question on here. And really the last part here, right, is show them the process. So this is why we're very big with our accelerator students to have a roadmap, right? Because it shows them the different phases, right? Or the different stages, or how they get somebody from like starting off at like 30 pounds, right? And I'm gonna get you down 30 pounds in like 16 weeks. It shows the whole entire process, right? Of how they're gonna do that, the roadmap, the journey. So somebody psychologically can be like, okay, I'm certain right now, but you show me this process and this roadmap. And I'm like, okay, I'm not as certain now. I'm more certain now that you can get me to the end destination just by showing me what that's gonna look like. So how can you guys demo that stuff? How can you seed that stuff? How can you have a roadmap, right? Showing that in your guys' marketing or your sales to decrease the uncertainty and increase it to more certainty, right? All right, so hopefully you found value in this video on how to use these 4 different strategies on turning more of your followers into buyers, okay? I like to end these videos on a prayer. If you don't want to hear the prayer, it's all good, right? We are believers, and everybody needs a prayer, especially these days, to increase their faith and increase their certainty, okay? So Heavenly Father, I thank you so much for this opportunity, for this video, whether it gets one view or hundreds, thousands, millions, that is in your hands, God, that is in your timing. All I ask is that you bless these health and fitness coaches that's watching this, that's consuming it, that's taking imperfect action, God, that you give them a spirit of courage, not a spirit of fear, God, and to be brave and to be bold and help more people end diseases, reverse diseases, cure diseases, God, and use their talents and gifts that you've given them with their profession to make this world a better place. In your mighty name I pray, amen. Okay, next thing I want you to do, if you want to kind of just hit the fast forward on this and not take the notes or rewatch this, take us up on a 15-minute business growth call. It's going to be with Coach Eric, and we can see if you guys are a good fit for our mentorship, if we can help you out, if not. No strings attached. Next thing I want you to do is watch this next training with one of our accelerator students, Rachel, how she made over $4,000 in literally less than 2 weeks by applying some of these strategies that I just went over in this video.